everyone, James Andrews here, and welcome back to another episode of the Political Freedom Fighters podcast. And once again, I do not have a special guest for you all today. So in this episode, I am going to be talking about something a little bit different. Something that I don't think anybody would ever expect me to talk about. And I'll be honest with you, I never thought I would be talking about this either. I actually didn't even know this was a thing until like a few days ago. So one day I was actually scrolling through TikTok, and then I found this TikTok user by the name of Wake County Pisser. I decided to check out their videos just to see what it's all about. But based on their profile picture, I had a really weird feeling about it. His profile picture was literally a stick figure peeing. And I saw the name Wake County Pisser, and I was like, wait a minute. Is he making what I think he's making? Now, I actually did see his channel through TikTok recommendations. Yes, TikTok recommended me this video. I don't know why they did that. So I decided to look for themselves, and yeah, all of his videos are literally all about peeing in public places. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I wish I was kidding. Oh my god. And the first thing I remember thinking about was, why is TikTok allowing this on their platform? Seriously. TikTok, why did you recommend me this? Why? Why did you post this? Why are you allowing this on your platform? Peeing in public? Really? Peeing in public? Come on now, bro. Come on. I couldn't even believe that there would be people out there who would be recording themselves peeing in public and posting them on TikTok for content. But, man, and here's the crazy part, right? It works! Well, it sometimes works. Because there are some channels there are some TikTok channels out there that are getting hundreds and if not thousands of views and likes of people likes, and there are comments literally, and there are comments out there that are literally supporting these people who are even to the point where they're even providing suggestions on who to target next. Yes, there are commenters who are providing recommendations on who to pee next in public or where to pee next in public. I'm not kidding. There are some crazy ass people out there. And when I was looking through the videos, they always use the same audio clip from Dexter Original Sin. Oh yeah, I forgot I wrote this one down because I knew I was going to forget about it. For those that don't know, Dexter is a show based on a character named Dexter Morgan, who is a serial killer who exterminates only heinous criminals that the justice system can't seem to catch. He also goes by the name Bay Harbor Butcher. The person uses the Bay Harbor Butcher audio in every video. Basically, the audio that I'm referencing to is some woman who's basically providing a background as to who the Bay Harbor Butcher is, and with some sinister music. It's basically from the show Dexter, and I believe it's kind of meant to be creepy. So yeah, I think you guys need to look this up yourselves. I'm not going to be providing links to those peers in the description because I don't want this video to get taken down. So with that being said, this person uses the Bay Harbor Butcher audio in literally every video, and I don't know why. I'm assuming they were trying to be like Dexter as well, so yeah, they're trying to be smart. And for this specific individual, I guess you could say it's working, but come on. Really? Peeing in public? I mean, at least it's not murder, but come on. Peeing in public? What? Look, I get that there are times where you have to pee in public out. No, 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 don't clip that, don't clip that. No, that's not what I meant. There may be times where you have to pee outside, in the woods, and actually that's about it. Peeing outside in the woods because there's no damn toilet. But other than that, I don't understand why we would be peeing outside, at all. It's really insane. So I've actually gone through the videos, and I actually have a list as to all the areas that the Wake County Pisser has hit so far. Yes, I actually ended up scrolling through every video, typing out literally where they peed at. And it's insane. Let me. I'm gonna actually read you the list right now. Here are the areas that Wake County Pisser has hit so far. He has peed on the roof of a house. He's also peed on what looks like to be a golf course. He also pissed on a parking lot in front of a Wingstop and Prickly Pear Salon, and I believe that was a strip mall, I believe. He also peed on possibly the roof of an apartment building. He peed on Jordan Lake. He peed on a pool and the ground at night. He also peed on a mailbox. He's also peed on a bench. He's peed on top of a bridge. Oh my god, my script said it peed on top of a bride on a tree. Oh my freaking god. No, on top of a bridge and on a tree. He's also peed on someone's yard where some of the pee landed on a wall. He's also peed outside the toilet, surprisingly, which is actually surprisingly the least disturbing. I don't know why you would literally record us. Why would you literally record yourself peeing on a toilet? That doesn't make sense. And yet, it's hard to believe that this is the least disturbing. Like, I don't understand. He's also allegedly peed on a soap dispenser. That's freaking gross, man. Come on. He's also peed on a Target at Holly Springs. He's also peed on a Publix. He's peed on downtown Apex. He's peed on a strip mall at Holly Springs. He's also peed on another toilet. He's also peed on another toilet out. He's also, I'm sorry, I actually worded this next one poorly. He's also peed. He's also peed outside the toilet again in Apex. He's also peed on South Point Mall. He's peed on UNC Chapel Hill, and he's peed on a trash can. Yeah, that's like the freaking list. And you know what the crazy part is? He's actually not the only one. There's actually like many TikTok users out there that do the content that he does. Now, I wasn't able to get them all on this video, but I was able to find a good amount of them in like a day. That was literally like my damn research. A day. There's plenty more out there. I know I'm probably gonna miss some, but holy cow. I just need to tell you all, like, who else has been making these videos? There is another TikTok user that also goes by the name of Wake County Pisser. I'm assuming it's a different one. And I believe it was possible. I believe in some of the videos he might have accidentally exposed himself to being a faker. So that's going to be so this one might not be legit. This person allegedly peed on a mailbox, the side of a red car, the sidewalk, the hood of a different red car. He's peed on the pavement twice. Could be and the pavement might be his home for all I know. A roof, a random person, and on a random person, which may or may not have exposed him as a faker. Because let's be real. Oh yeah, he actually recorded himself peeing on a person. And why do I think this is fake? If this were real, I think that person would have reported him to the police. I honestly believe that. I mean, wouldn't you? If somebody like peed on you, wouldn't you like report it to the police as well? Because it's weird. This actually reminds me of a news article that I actually learned about a few months ago. Apparently, this news was like years ago, but I only found out recently. There was this, I think it was a black guy, I believe, who ended up like gooning on a woman's leg before running away. Like, yeah, that was quite big news, and I couldn't believe that I didn't know about this until like not too long, until like just recently. But holy cow, it's insane. Anyways, the next person that I also discovered was someone by the name of UNC Pisser, who is literally peeing at UNC Chapel Hill. Yes, there are people who are peeing in public in colleges too. I know. It's freaking insane. So where did the UNC pisser pee in? He's pissed on the UNC stadium. I believe it might have been a football course, but I don't remember. But holy crap, really? You're gonna pee on the grass? Come on, man. And he's also peed on the steps of a clock tower. He's also peed on the brick floor right next to a building that says Hinton James. He's also peed on a table next to a building that says Genome Sciences Building. He's also peed on the steps of the Wilson Library. During my research, he also recorded a video of himself walking around in public, blending in with the students as to cover his identity. Unfortunately, he did not see his face. We did not get to see his face, but holy freaking cow. The fact that this person was able to blend in, there's a good chance that this person might be a student at UNC Chapel Hill. I'm not fully sure, but holy freaking crap. Now, if you're wondering why I'm not showing you the videos, for those that have just recently tuned in, yeah, I don't want my video to get taken down because this is about peeing in public. Ain't nobody want to see that. Come on now. So, yeah. So there's all okay, let's go on to another person who has been quote unquote peeing in public. There's also a user by the name of Hornell Pisser. And I had to actually do some research on this, and the Hornell Pisser is actually peeing on, guess what? The Hornell City School District. Now, when I first saw this TikTok user, I thought Hornell was a college. I didn't know this was a school district that involves elementary, middle, and high school. Yes, I had to look it up. I thought it was a college. But nope, as it turns out, it was actually a high school. Yes, I'm literally saying that this is most likely a high schooler who's doing this. And for those that don't know, Hornell is in New York, so yeah, not so this is literally across the nation, surprisingly enough. And oh yeah, by the way, the reason why I guess why no one's reported this person sooner is because after scrolling through these videos, I can confirm to you that this person is a faker. He's not actually peeing. Based on the videos I've seen, I can assure you all that this person is a faker. But even if it's fake, like why? Why are you doing this? There's no point. Yeah, I think you're getting in trouble for like nothing. I mean, maybe he's doing it for views, I guess, but I don't think the views are worth it because we know he's a faker. But anyways, so where did the Hornell quote unquote pee in? Because I know this person's a fake after watching their videos. The person peed on the grass next to a fence that had a sign. He's also peed on a different sign that contained directions to, I guess, the school for whatever. And he's also allegedly peed on a football stadium containing the Hornell logo, which is where I start, which was my main reference into finding out what Hornell was. So this person is a faker, but nonetheless, come on, really, really, this is messed up, man. Next up, there is also another user who goes by the name of WCU Pissers, which is in Western Carolina University. Now, I don't know if this person is real or not, but I do have suspicions to suggest that maybe this person is legit. This person actually ended up peeing on a garden, he's peed on a stairwell, and he's also peed in front of the Ramsey Regional Activity Center. And the Ramsey Regional Activity Center on that video, when I saw the name of the Ramsey Center, that was when I did some research and I found out that this was Western Carolina University. I know it says WCU, but come on, I don't really care about colleges that much, to be honest with you all. Alright, the next user I also ended up finding was a user by the name of Flowers Plantation Pisser, which is apparently the name of Flowers Plantation Pisser. For those that don't know, Flowers Plantation is actually a neighborhood that is a few minutes from the Triangle area. I know most of you probably don't know what Flowers Plantation was because I didn't even know what Flowers Plantation was either. I thought when I first heard about Flowers Plantation, I thought about slavery. I'm not kidding. I thought of, because of the whole slavery thing in the United States, I actually thought Flowers Plantation was like an actual plantation, but as it turns out, it's just an actual neighborhood where people live in. It's insane. But anyways, where did the Flowers Plantation pisser pee on? Apparently, the Flowers Plantation pisser ended up peeing on a no trespassing sign. Yes, really. He's also peed on the grass near a sign that says Ogden Sur, which I'm assuming is Ogden Circle, where apparently that road was being blocked for whatever reason. He's also peed on the pavement next to a body of water where there are many stores open at night and on Poplar Woods. So, yeah. It's, oh, and it gets worse too. There's also another user by the name of Eleanor Pisser, which is someone who's peeing in a town in Putnam County, West Virginia. Yes, I had to look that up as well. And apparently, the Eleanor Pisser ended up peeing on the grass in front of a People's Federal Credit Union with a church nearby. He actually did this twice, by the way. And he's also peed on a Domino's in West Virginia. Holy freaking cow. Oh, and here, I also did stumble upon a TikTok user by the name of Richie Pisser, to where he said that he was going to be allegedly peeing on a football stadium. Now, luckily, that TikTok channel did not have any peeing videos, but unfortunately, he did end up reposting other users that did actually pee. So I don't know if he did it or not, but it's clear that he knows others that have actually peed in other areas in other areas of the world. No, not other areas, the other schools or other places in the United States. So, oh my god. Even the copycatters are taking inspiration from the people who are legitimately doing this. Next up is a big one. The next person I also stumbled upon was a user by the name of Cobb County Pisser. And apparently this person's peeing in Cobb County, Georgia, and he's peed on quite a number of areas. The Cobb County Pisser ended up peeing on a trash can in Burlington, a post office, specifically the mailboxes, a school, some sort of pillar in Marietta, a car's tire, a different school bus, a red car, the bricks of a sign in Smyrna, the pavement of a massive building in South Cobb, outside the toilet in Austell, and a mailbox in Gwinnett County, Georgia. Yeah, it's also taking place in Georgia as well. The next up that I was able to find was a user by the name of the UNCC Gooner, which is the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. And, oh yeah, I'm glad I wrote this down. The UNCC Gooner, well, it's basically what you think he is. He doesn't actually pee in public. He, goons in public. And for those of you that don't know what gooning is an activity where you basically end up finishing yourself off after, I guess, having a good time. I'm not going to get too explicit because it's freaking gross and disgusting, and really, it's too inappropriate for me to say right here on YouTube. But for those that do know who gooning is, you get the idea. It's basically freaking disgusting. And you're not going to believe where the gooner has gooned at. This guy has gooned near a brick wall of building, some sort of face statue, some electric scooters, a South Village sign, and another wall where he was almost publicly caught. Now, when I watched the some sort of face statue video, I actually ended up reading the comments, and as it turns out, there's actually someone who actually had a photo of the person literally doing the gooning. So that person, so we know who the identity of this person is, but I'm not sure if anyone's done anything to stop it. I hopefully someone has. And you know what? Here's the worst part about this. The UNCC Gooner actually has a partner by the name of the UNCC Pisser. So not only is there a pisser at the University of North Carolina in Charlotte, but there's also a Gooner as well. There's a Gooner and a pisser. Wow. UNCC actually has it pretty bad. I hope they do something about this soon. Anyways, where did the UNCC Pisser pee on? This person peed on the pavement near a clock tower, the grass near a road within the school, some sort of abandoned kitchen or something where he did a collaboration with the UNCC Gooner. He peed on a football stadium. Again, why are people peeing on football stadiums? That's pretty messed up. He's also peed on the grounds of the calisthenics outdoor recreation equipment that is outside. He's also peed on an empty parking lot, and he's peed on a stairwell. Now, fortunately, the Gooner and the Pisser do have a rivalry with a user named the UNCC Gooner and Pisser Hunter, basically there's already someone who's going after them, so that's good because I highly doubt that the colleges are going to do anything to stop this, unfortunately. And I want to believe that that they're going to do something. I really do. But let's be real. Many people do not trust the college institutions. People do not have faith in colleges. So there's no way people are going to have faith that that the colleges are going to do the right thing and catch them and turn them in and expel them or whatever. I hate saying this, I really do, because colleges should be protecting students, but this whole thing, I don't know what to say. So, anyways, there are plenty of others out there, but this is all that I wanted to write down. So, we're gonna go on to the next thing I want to talk about. Is it illegal to take a piss in public in North Carolina? I know it's dumb that I have to say this, but the fact that there are these types of videos that are peeing in public in North Carolina and outside the state, I have to ask this now because holy cow, this is messed up. Is it illegal to take a piss in public in North Carolina? I shouldn't even have to be asking this question, you know? It should be obvious. But the fact that people are doing this, that means we have to ask ourselves, is this illegal? Well, here's what I found when asking ChatGPT, or specifically Microsoft Copilot to be exact. Yes, public urination is illegal in North Carolina. It's typically enforced under local ordinances and treated as a Class 2 misdemeanor, which means you can face fines or other penalties of cost. However, things can escalate depending on the circumstances. If someone exposes their private parts in a way that's considered indecent exposure, especially in front of others, it could lead to more serious charges. If the act is done in front of a minor with intent to gratify sexual desire, it could even be classified as a Class H felony. And don't worry, guys, there's actually sources to like back some of what Microsoft Copilot is saying. So while it's not automatically a sex crime, it can become one depending on how and where it happens. If nature calls, best to find a restroom. Your record will thank you. So I'm actually pull up some links real quick just to show you all that. Just to show you all that, like, I'm not making this shit up. Alright, one of my links is not loading. I don't know what the hell is up with that. In fact, you know what? Hold on, let me see if I can, like, pull one of the sources up. Yeah! Oh, hang on. I need to put mine in show in a tile. There we go. Alright, here's one of the sources that I found based off of what Microsoft Copilot says. It says, if I urinate in public, will I need to register as a snuff offender? Urinating in public in North Carolina. Some years ago, an urban legend started circulating among college campuses that if you were caught peeing in public, you could be forced to register in the you know what offender. Thankfully, for those of you who refuse to wait in the porta potty line, this is not true, at least not in North Carolina. Urinating in public is a local ordinance that is punishable by a misdemeanor if you're convicted. Of the range of punishments available to judge sentencing you, none of them include the requirement that you register as a registered snuff offender. Now, if you unzip your fly, lift your kilt, drop trout in front of another person, you could be looking at a charge for indecent exposure. If that happens, call me. So, yeah, that's one of those links. Well, that's one of those sources. Let me show you. Let me pull up the other source. Um, okay, there we go. And the link that I showed you right here, I'm showing you right now, is actually a general statute in regards to indecent exposure. So this is actual law. So I'm gonna actually be reading the entire part for you all just to show you all just to show you all that I'm not messing around. So, anyways, General Statute 14190.9, indecent exposure. A. Unless the conduct is punishable under subsection A1 of this section, Any person who shall willfully expose the private parts of his or her person in any public space in the presence of any other person or persons, except for those places designated for a public purpose where the same-sex exposure is incidental to a permitted activity or aids or abets in any such, or who procures another to perform such act, or any person who, as owner, manager, lessee, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, director, promoter, or agent, or in any other capacity, knowingly hires, leases, or permits the land, building, or premises of which he is the owner, lessee, or leasee, or tenant, or over which he has control, to be used for purposes of any such act, shall be guilty of a Class 2 misdemeanor. A1. Unless the conduct is prohibited by another law providing greater punishment, any person at least 18 years of age who shall willfully expose the private parts of his or her person in any public place in the presence of a minor as defined in General Statute 14-190.13 for the purpose of arousing or gratifying sexual desire shall be guilty of a Class H felony. An offense committed under this subsection shall not be considered to a lesser included offense, including let me reread this again. An offense committed under this subsection shall not be considered to be a lesser included offense under General Statute 14-202.1. A2. Unless the conduct is prohibited by another law providing greater punishment, any person who shall willfully expose the private parts of his or her person in the presence of anyone other than a consenting adult on the private premises of another or so near thereto as to be seen from such private premises for the purpose of arousing or gratifying sexual desire is guilty of a Class 2 misdemeanor. A4. Unless the conduct is punishable by another law providing greater punishment, any person at least 18 years of age who shall willfully expose the private parts of his or her person in a private residence of which they are not a residence and in the presence of a minor as defined in General Statute 14-90.13 who is a resident of that private residence shall be guilty of a Class 2 misdemeanor. A5. Unless the conduct is prohibited by another law providing greater punishment, any person located in a private place who shall willfully expose the private parts of his or her person with the knowing intent to be seen by a person in a public place shall be guilty of a Class 2 misdemeanor. Alright, all that makes sense actually. B. Notwithstanding any other provision of law, a woman may breastfeed in any public or private location where she is otherwise authorized to be, irrespective of whether the nipple of the mother's breast is uncovered during or incidental to the breastfeeding. Yeah, um, I did not expect to be reading anything about breastfeeding in this video, so let's finish reading this up. Notwithstanding any other provision of law, a local government may regulate the location and operation of sexually oriented businesses. Such local regulation may restrict or prohibit nude, semi-nude, or topless dancing to the extent consistent with the constitutional protection afforded free speech. Look, I do not think that nudity is free speech, okay? Nudity is not like it's like an action of showing your body off. It's not real. I don't know what kind of speech it's supposed to do. Okay, I don't get it. Nudity is, to me, in my opinion, I don't think nudity is speech. So basically, this one right here is in relations to like strippers and I guess prostitution and all that. But you get the idea. What all that matters is do not pee in public, or else you're going to get at the minimum a Class 2 misdemeanor. So I'm gonna exit that out. All right, no one else is here. Okay. All right. Next up, I'm going to be reading what else I also found from Microsoft Copilot. And like I said before, don't just rely on AI. Please definitely do your own research on this, just so that way like you can get the right facts, because AI is not fully factual at this point, and you got the idea. So, what are the fines and penalties? In North Carolina, public urination is typically treated as a Class 2 misdemeanor, which can carry the following penalties. Now, the following penalties I cannot confirm at this time. So, hold on. So, you know what? Here are the penalties, and here are the fines and legal consequences. Here are the fines and legal consequences, according to what Microsoft Pilot has said. The fines are up to $1,000 depending on the judge's discretion and local ordinances. Jail time up to 60 days in jail, though first-time offenders often receive lighter sentences. Community service. Courts may assign hours of service instead of jail time. Probation. You could be placed on supervised or unsupervised probation. Criminal record. A conviction goes on your record, which can affect employment, housing, and more. When it gets worse, if the act involves indecent exposure, especially in front of a minor, it could escalate to a Class H felony, like I said before, which carries longer jail time, up to 39 months, and the SNUT offender's registration, depending on the circumstances. Even if no one saw anything explicit being caught in the act, especially in a place like a public, even if no one saw anything explicit, being caught in the act, especially in a public place like a park or golf course, could still lead to charges and embarrassment. So, and like I said before, I don't think I actually said this before already. I will be linking to all my sources in the description below so that you all can like check it out for yourselves and to verify the sources for me. So, with that being said, the next thing I want to go about is what about the penalties for the rest of the United States? Because this is not just happening in North Carolina, this is happening across the country. What are the penalties for peeing in the United States in general? Public urination in the US. What you could face. Peeing in public might seem like a minor slip up. Minor slip up. That's not a minor slip up. That's peeing in public can be like a pretty big slip up depending on the state you live in. Excuse me. But legally, it can lead to real consequences depending on where it happens. Here's the breakdown of how it's typically handled. The legal classifications include disorderly conduct, local ordinances, and public indecency. Disorderly conduct. In most states treat public urination as a form of disorderly conduct or public nuisance. Local ordinances. Cities often have their own rules which may be stricter than state laws. Also highly possible. Public indecency. In rare cases, especially if exposure is deemed intentional or offensive, it could be charged as public indecency. The penalties you might face. If it's an infraction or minor, the fine could be of between $50 to $500 and possibly community service. For a misdemeanor, the fine is up to like $1,000 and jail time up to 6 months. And for a repeat/aggravated crime, the typical penalty range is higher fines, longer jail time, and possible probation. In some jurisdictions, urinating in public view, even on private property, can still be illegal if visible from a public space. Again, the worst case scenarios are a criminal record, a misdemeanor conviction can stick with you and affect job or housing opportunities, and the registered SNUT offender. I'm afraid of saying that word because saying that I think could get my video taken down, and I think that's really annoying. But I don't know what I can do about that. The registered offender, you know that offenders list. Extremely rare, but if the act is interpreted as lewd or sexual in nature, it could trigger this severe consequence. Factors that influence penalties are location, example, near schools or public transport, makes sense. Intent, accidental versus deliberate exposure, prior offenses, and local law enforcement discretion. So, because the penalties for peeing in public are different on the state and local level, the next question that we should be asking is which states are the most lax when it comes to peeing in public, and which states are the most strict when it comes to peeing in public? Well, we have our answer. Great question. So, I actually also asked this on Microsoft Copilot as well, and we actually got ourselves quite a list. We're going to first start off with the strictest states because that's what I saw first. These states have laws that can escalate public urination into serious charges, including indecent exposure or even the you-know-what offender's registration in extreme cases. Here are the most strictest states. California. In California, you can be charged as indecent exposure if intent is sexual or reckless. In Georgia, the reason why it's strict is public urination near schools or parks can lead the offenders to the registered SNA offender status. South Carolina, you have indecent exposure laws that are very broad and they can apply to urination. Okay, that makes sense. In Arizona, repeat offenses or exposures near minors can trigger felony charges. That's true. I guess that makes sense actually when you think about it. Florida, local ordinances vary, damn, but some cities treat it as a criminal misdemeanor with jail time. At least 13 states have laws that can lead to sex offender registration if the act is interpreted as lewd or others near children. Honestly, at this point, I need to start saying sex offender registration when it comes to this because I don't even care what YouTube says anymore. This is quite serious. Most lenient states. These states tend to treat public urination as a minor infraction or disorderly conduct, with fines or community service as the usual penalty. Texas. Yes, Texas is one of the most lenient states when it comes to peeing in public. You know, for a state that is supposed to lean conservative, you would think that this is something that they would take issue on, but no. That's pretty odd. That's pretty odd. Texas, why it's lenient. Typically charged as disorderly conduct, no sex offender risk unless intent is lewd. Okay, okay, there's some good reason. Okay, there is something reasonable in Texas. That's pretty good. Michigan, treated as a misdemeanor or local ordinance violation, not considered a sexual offense. I mean, not treated as a sexual offense. Remember, not treated as a sexual offense. Remember, one of the users that I actually told you guys about earlier in the video ended up peeing on another person. So if that person was in Michigan, I forgot who it was, but god damn, I would have to. I give up Michigan. I give up Michigan. Oregon, often handled through local ordinances with small fines. Colorado, generally treated as a municipal violation, not a criminal offense. And Washington, local laws vary, but many cities issue citations without criminal charges. No, really? Really, Washington? Really? Damn. Oh, God. These states focus more on public nuisance than criminal intent. Yes, they are a public nuisance to say the least, and rarely escalate the charge unless there are aggravating factors. So, let me see if I can pull up this link. I know this article that I found from Microsoft Copilot is pretty long on this one. So, wow, let's actually take a look at the MedShed link real quick because holy crap, I actually have not read through this link at all. So, yeah. And obviously, like I said before, I will have links to all of this in the description below so that way like you all can check it out and see for yourself. I'm already seeing this chart right here. Number of states requiring sex offender registration for public urination, at least 13. States where public urination is not considered a sexual offense, Texas and Michigan. Texas and Michigan, god damn. Damn Texas and Michigan. Holy cow. Public urination and indecent exposure. It is considered a minor crime. Now, luckily, here's the good thing about the whole. I can't even believe I'm saying good. Public urination is not good, guys. Please don't do that. The good thing about these videos of public urination is there are no minors involved. At least I don't believe so. No one is peeing on children, basically from what I've seen. So thank God. But still, please do not pee in public, even if they're fake. Like, please, please, because high schools and colleges and neighborhoods are being involved in this messed up situation. But still, I actually didn't even see this paragraph right here. Let's actually read this together. In Michigan, there is no specific state law for urinating in public, but individuals caught in the act are typically charged with disorderly conduct or indecent exposure. While a first-time conviction for these offenses may not require sex offender registration, circumstances that exacerbate the severity of the situation could lead to this outcome. Similarly, in Pennsylvania, a 15-year-old girl was charged with cheese pizza. I actually know that I'm pretty sure that you can't say this on YouTube. I'm pretty sure some pride catchers have actually gotten censored for saying this type of stuff, and placed on the sex offender registry after taking and sharing nude photos of herself online. Yeah, I know this video was supposed to be about peeing, but I actually did not read this link at all. But I'm glad I'm reading a paragraph on this right now. Please don't share nudes. I'm talking about everybody, old, young, middle-aged, whatever. Please do not send nudes. Like, please, for the love of God. Ain't nobody want to see your nudes. Come on now. But public urination, Michigan, other states, legal advice. This article is pretty long, and we're already so far into this video. And I do have something else that I do want to talk about. Are these videos fakes? Well, the good thing about this, or should I say, the shining light on this issue is that according to the comments on some of these videos, some of the users who make these videos are actually fake because they actually use like a water bottle to make themselves look like they're peeing, and so on and so forth. Thankfully, some of them are fake, but I believe that there are some TikTok videos out there who have exposed a few people who've done this stuff, that they have a water bottle in their hand. I already said that. However, there is a possibility that some of them are real, and that's pretty scary. Also, one of the accounts that I found doing this was already exposed by the comment section on TikTok as well. They actually ended up exposing their name, being like, "Come on, this person!" Like, people knew who this person was. Like, that is freaking insane. And I won't say his name in the podcast because I will not give him the exposure, but I think it shows that this person did not have a plan for concealing their identity, at all. Holy freaking cow. But you know what? What's my message to all this with this whole peeing? Please, for the love of God, stop peeing in public. We do not need to see any of that. And holy cow. I actually did end up following all of the pissers onto TikTok only for research purposes. I plan on unfollowing them at either after today or after this video is posted on YouTube. So it's 9:17 p.m. To be honest with you all, I don't have anything else to talk about, really. So with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed and I'll see you all later. Peace. Hey everyone, it's me again, and we still got some time left in this video. Once again, this was going to be originally be my second video in a row, but then I just realized that this yesterday, by the time you guys are watching this, yesterday will have been the 24th anniversary of September 11, 2001, and this day is actually pretty important to me specifically because I was actually born on September 11, 2001. I was actually born at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So literally over an hour, 1 hour and 18 minutes, I believe, 1 hour and 19 minutes after the North Trade Center collapsed. And for those that don't remember what 9/11 was, let me give you the rundown from what I remember throughout the years of what people have said. On September 11, 2001, there were 19 members of Al Qaeda that ended up going on a mission in an attempt to hijack 4 planes. The first plane ended up having 5 hijackers. The first, second, and third planes actually ended up having 5 hijackers, and the fourth airplane ended up having only 4 hijackers. And they all 4 the 19 Al Qaeda members did end up successfully hijacking all 4 planes, and one of them did. The first plane ended up hitting the North Trade Center. The second plane ended up hitting the South World Trade Center. The third ended up hitting the Pentagon. And the fourth one was actually aiming for what I believe the Capitol building. But thanks to the heroic efforts of those who were on the plane, who sacrificed their own lives to basically rescue this country, that fourth plane did end up did end up like falling and crashing on like a field in Pennsylvania. So heroes to them. And there were also a lot of firefighters as well, I believe, that were trying to rescue people from the World Trade Centers, as the World Trade Centers were actually ended up building, and eventually like both towers would end up like falling, crushing a whole lot of people, and a lot of people ended up dying. The fatalities of 9/11 were almost 3,000, including the 19 hijackers, and thousands more being injured. And there are many people who are facing like 9/11 like scars for it, and it really sucks. 9/11 not only changed everything, but it basically led the United States to being more of a interventionist country. The United States ended up getting increasingly involved in foreign policy again over the past like 24 years, such as the war on terror, the whole Saddam Hussein thing, where George W. Bush ended up lying about Iraq having weapons of mass destruction, and basically 9/11 and basically made our country more like, I guess you could say, conservative, but it's more of a more militarily interventionist in basically in trying to quote unquote protect the world. Basically our country did end up becoming a police state, and the war and the military industrial complex ended up growing a lot. So that's kind of what I remember from 9/11. It was a very tragic day for everyone in the country. And like I said before, I was actually born on 9/11. And the thing is about being born with like 9/11, I know not a lot of people are going to be watching this, but it's really insane. Whenever people mention like you were born on like no, whenever you mention like you were born on like 9/11, there are some people are going so there are going to be like some people who will end up like feeling bad for you for whatever reason. And I guess it makes sense. 9/11 was such a tragic event. There will be some people that are bad for you. Some will tell you their horror story. Some will tell you their perspective of what they remember about 9/11. And yeah, and when I was in like the fifth grade, I remember there was like a local newspaper who was trying to get a photo of me and a few other kids in order to put all of us in a newspaper, because the 10th anniversary of 9/11 was actually approaching. And yeah, I actually did not get the newspaper until like the Monday after the Monday until like Monday, because I believe the 10th anniversary of 9/11 was on a weekend. So yeah, I actually didn't even know about the newspaper until like my third grade teacher actually ended up telling me that I was on the newspaper. Yeah, I remember she was going like, "James, you're on the newspaper," and I was like, "What?" And she ended up giving the newspaper to me, and I actually don't know where I put it in now. Maybe it's gone. I don't remember, but I remember it was like me and three other kids that were on the newspaper, and I was like, "Cool." And then after that, I ended up like moving on from it because, well, I was a kid. I didn't know, but yeah, 9/11 is a pretty sad day. But to be honest, I really hope that our country is in a better direction now. And one of the things that I do remember from seeing like 9/11, seeing people talk about 9/11 throughout the years, is once the World Trade Centers were like taken down, it got replaced by like the One World Trade Center. And one of the criticisms, I think that tower is called the Freedom Tower, I believe. Not fully sure. I think it's called the Freedom Tower. But one of the biggest insults from what I remember that people have complained about the Freedom Tower is how much money it costs, and how much it showed how weak the United States is by proving the terrorists that terrorism works. If we're going to look, if we're going to be like rebuilding buildings after such a tragic event like 9/11, let's at least rebuild like both the towers. If we just like mourn like the victims and instead don't honor like the firefighters, like we're letting the terrorists win. And our response to 9/11 has overall kind of been more of like, it actually ended up showing how weak the United States has become from what I've heard from other people, and it's quite very unfortunate. And I really wish, I don't know what we can do now. It's been 24 years after 9/11, and I've run out of thoughts to say, to be honest. So anyways, like my birthday will have already passed by the time this video comes out, so all the happy late birthdays are appreciated. And yeah, with that being said, I think that's going to be generally it this time. I don't have anything else to say. And once again, I'm sorry that the video is under 1 hour long. I did not have anything like fully prepared for this video. So with that being said, I'll see you all later. Peace.